Hello, I'm Mpc and welcome to Seed Sunday. Seed Sunday is a weekly series I run on my channel where I show you seeds, Minecraft Xbox and Minecraft PlayStation that are particularly unique and worth checking out for some reason. And this week's seed has a bunch of unique reasons to check it out, a lot of them very good, but a lot of them are just very strange, such as the fact that, for instance, you spawn above a big pit of lava staring into the, the death that could instantly await you. And yeah, just in addition to just that, there is lots of cool stuff, such as I found this while looking for last week's seeds, the 7 Mpc Village seed, which means this seed does have 4 Mpc villages. 2 of those are blacksmith chests with diamonds in, so that's great. But in addition to that, there's just a bunch of weird biome choices that make this seed very strange, very unique, and very weird, which is what Seed Sunday is all about. So, yeah, this is the 235th seed I checked last week, which is why the seed is follow IBX 235, and this is where you'll spawn that seed. But please do like the video if you do like it. It would help out the channel a lot, and it lets me know that you liked it. Like I mentioned, very strange seed. If this is the sort of thing you want to see more on Seed Sunday, please do like the video and let me know. But yeah, so if you do type in this seed, you will spawn either just over here. There's a decent chance you'll be here, but you might spawn just outside this place. I'll warn you now, because the spawn in Minecraft isn't a fixed point, it's a fixed area. You could spawn either down there, or you could spawn anywhere around this jungle. But either way, you're going to have very close access to this, little cave down here. And the reason that having lava at spawn is so cool, and the reason that I think it's such a big deal, is the fact that you can't actually place lava at spawn. Even though there's lava there, if I try and place lava, it won't actually let me, because it's too close to this level, which means you can't actually place stuff. And although there is technically a way to get around that, if you use a dispenser, like I'll just show you now. So if I were to go up here and try and place lava, it wouldn't let me. But if I place it from the dispenser, it will let me. There is, yeah, technically a way around this. However, it doesn't really work that well in survival. It's nearly impossible to properly work. And it's not real lava. Like, it's not the surface lava thing. Whereas this is just a big pit of lava right next to spawn. If you wanted to, you could strip the entire area here besides the pit of lava and make it so people spawn in lava over and over again. It's just one of the ideas that you can do with this seed. And that's why I think it's great. I love having unique things you can do with a seed like that. And even if you don't, you can just confuse the hell out of your friends by, making them spawn here and just having them stare at the pit of lava, because that's a scary thing to do. And that's why I thought this seed was so cool when I loaded it up. But besides just the big pit of lava at spawn, this seed does have a lot going for it that I'm going to show you, of course, in this video. So, like I said, this is the spawn just here in this jungle. Jungles aren't a particularly great place to spawn. If you watched my worst biomes video, you probably know that already. But yeah, if you look around the jungle, you do see that, first of all, there's a nice bit of water here, which does give you sugarcane. And there's also, if you head in this direction, and then you climb the mountain, there is a jungle temple in this jungle. So it justifies the existence of the jungle temple, and it also means that if you head inside here, you can get yourself some access to whatever inside the chest. So in this chest, we have Bane of Arthropods free, as well as 2 iron ingots. The other chest has a chance of giving us diamonds, gold, and iron perhaps. So we've got, 3 iron, 3 gold. So we already got a decent amount of gold. We've already got a decent start to our iron supply, 5 bits fine. And we've got an enchanted book, which is pretty useful for going into abandoned mine shafts, already within a pretty awkward place for a jungle temple. But I think that's what makes it so cool, because you could turn this into your house or something and make this like the peak of the jungle. If you want to make the most out of your jungle, that's how you can do it. If you want to ignore your jungle, it's actually quite easy to. Because if you look at this map, the jungle only takes up like a big corner of the world, but it's pretty much all isolated from there onwards. And on top of that, the jungle does have a couple of cool places in it, such as the jungle temple I showed you, but also this extreme hill biome here. So as you can see, it was clearly meant to go somewhere, but it was cut off by the 360/PS3 world size limit. And I'm always a big fan of like weird stuff like that when it happens. Speaking of cool extreme hill biomes, if you head along the bottom of the map here, you can actually head through a forest at the edge of the little biome here, which is actually quite close to spawn. That's the spawn just here, the beacon. If you just head through this forest, you'll end up at another extreme hill biome. And this is one I'm a really big fan of, because if you look here, it's actually like kind of a trek to get up. Like, you have to work out how you're going to jump up there. If you can jump to the top, what I think is really cool is there's just a single pumpkin there as your reward, which you can use to start a farm, of course. And it's like a nice little bonus for being able to climb all the way up here, because it's not an easy mountain to climb. Like, if you're not going to be using blocks, it's a difficult place to get on top of. And I think it's really nice that there's like a single block of reward here, and that's just really cool in my opinion. So, yeah, as well as that, there is also a big snow biome in the bottom left of the map. If you like snow biomes, that's great. Even if you don't, like I said, it's in the corner of the map, so you can just ignore it if you don't want to. And even if you do want to ignore it, this big ice lake here is something you won't want to ignore, because ice is something that hostile mobs can't spawn on, and this is a massive ice lake, which is of course very great if you want to have yourself, a house without having to light it up. You just make it on here, and the only way mobs can spawn is around the edges there. It's also a great source of ice if you get a silk touch pickaxe, and that's always a good thing. But moving on from this here, because I'm sure you're all familiar with the ins and outs about ice and stuff, let's move into where all the Mpc Village villages are, because the first one is in a really nice location just to the north of the jungle here. So it's pretty much surrounded by jungle. You could even extend the jungle into this village. And although this one doesn't have a blacksmith chest, it is pretty close to spawn. And it is a nice way to get yourself some wheat and stuff. Just, not worry about food because it's right here. You can also trade the villagers, get yourself some emeralds because they'll all have pretty good trades. And you can also look around this place that's very, very weirdly layered up and down. Like that house is just a block lower than this one because why not, right? And yeah, that's the first village. Nothing too amazing worth checking out there. However, the second village, which is just to the north over here, is very, very worth checking out because there's the two great things any village should have. First of all, it has a church, so you can trade the priest, get yourself some nice trades. By the way, he's actually locked in there because of this gravel that spawns it. There's a priest, so you can trade with him to get some potentially really great enchantments, as well as eye offenders and stuff like that. But there's also a blacksmith, which means you can get yourself a free diamond, free iron boots, 6 pieces of iron, and some free bread. But it also means you can trade with the blacksmith and, potentially get some chain armor, potentially get all that sort of stuff. A chain helmet, see? And that's a really, really cool little bonus right there. So, yeah, this is the second Mpc Village just over here at these corners, just in case you need them. It also, in my particular case, I know this only happens, some of the time, it also glitched and a lot of the village is missing, which is always cool for me to look at. Like, this entire part of the village here is just missing for some reason, and yeah, I think that's cool. But anyway, moving on to the third Mpc Village, which is actually just over to the side here. On the way there, actually, you'll notice there's a big ravine here in between the two villages, and the cool thing about this ravine is there's just an open zombie spawner here. So if you can fight the zombie spawner, you will actually give yourself access to a name tag, iron horse armor, and 13 discs. So 3 really cool items there that you can only really find in mob spawners, and just a nice bonus for heading in there. Just in case the iron horse armor alone isn't good enough, don't worry, you can get yourself a saddle in this next blacksmith chest. So again, blacksmith chest, something every village is nice with. This does have a iron chest plate, 5 more iron ingots, so you can make the rest of the armor if you want to. 2 saddles, 1 for you, 1 for a friend, or maybe 2 for you if that's the sort of person you are. And you can have a second diamond. So 2 diamonds already, a bunch of armor, a bunch of iron, and even some saddles, which is really, really nice. And the other cool thing about this village is it does have its own church, which is great, of course. And the cool thing about this church is it's kind of inside a cave, so usually they're meant to be like this tall, but this one is a lot taller than you might figure a church ever would be. This is all just hollow air, in case you're wondering. But it's still pretty cool to see, right? At least in my opinion. And yeah, that's something you could do. You could make a little house below there and there, like make this a 5-floor priest area. That's something you can do. But either way, the rest of the village is pretty cool because it's on a slope. Always nice to look at. Always strange, like how the village kind of just walks into its own house here. Very, very strange village. Very, very cool village. I like it a bit, but let's move on to the 4th village. So, yeah, that's the second village done. There is a nice little cache of sugarcane on the way there. But finally, as we head towards the 4th village, you see this one is pretty unique its own way too, because although it doesn't have a blacksmith chest, probably because it was cut off at the edge here, it does have a librarian, which is a awesome way to get yourself some, like emeralds for your paper, which is infinitely easy to get, and also, they should be trapped in here, they are. So yeah, trade yourself some books, awesome, which you can actually get from the bookshelves just here. Trade yourself some books and some paper to get yourself some emeralds, and on top of just that, there's also, just a nice village that's submerged in water a little bit. It makes this weird thing where there's just floating posts. It makes this weird thing where some villagers are just trapped in their houses. And it's a good way to keep them safe. If that's something you worry about a lot, then this is something you can do. Also, it looks like there is actually a second librarian here. So 2 librarians, 1 village. Very nice little bonus. And just a nice, strange overall village. So what else does the seed have going for it? That's not just great villages or very strange stuff in the bottom of the world. So the top of the world has its own fair deal of strange stuff too. First of all, this second village I showed you just over here does actually have a little hole to the right of it, just in front of this blacksmith chest, just over here. And down this hole, like with last week's seed, you can actually find yourself an abandoned mineshaft. So we'll splash potion ourselves. And inside this mineshaft is just a really cool mineshaft that's really easy to get around because it's inside a cave. So if you want a really easy abandoned mineshaft to explore, this is the one. Even though, it takes a lot of exploring to do because it is a really big mineshaft. There's a few chests in here. They do contain some gold and some iron from what I can tell, which is really, really cool. And yeah, if you just look around the place, it's a fun one to explore. It's a different, experience because you can jump from like rail to rail really easily without having to break through walls. So yeah, that's this little place just here. I'm going to try and find my way out, and if I can't, I'm just going to break through the ceiling. But as well as just this little cool abandoned mineshaft at these corners just down here, there is also something I thought was really... Oh, end up inside an Mpc Village. There's something I thought was really cool, which is just over here, there is a really big extreme hill biome. It's just the right of this plains, which, by the way, is totally worth settling down on if you want a nice normal biome. But if you want a slightly different place to sell down... Sorry about that little hiccup. You'll notice there is an extreme hill biome just over here. And although it's an extreme hill biome, which is usually characterized by massive mountains, floating islands and stuff, there isn't really too much of that. Like, there's a few tiny floating islands here, and there's a few hills here, but there's no massive mountains. So, this is a great place to set up a house, because first of all, different color land. I mean, you'll notice just here, the grass in extreme hill biome is very slightly different to elsewhere. There's normal grass, there's extreme hill biome. Second of all, it means that if you do set up here, it's a slightly more peaceful place, slightly different place, but it mainly means that if you dig below this place, there is a chance to find emeralds the entire place over. So you could have a house in the middle here, pretend it's a plains biome, but have access to all the emeralds that you might want to have, because finding emeralds naturally in survival is a really nice bonus that I'm sure everybody loves. So yeah, that's another strange thing this seed is going for. An extreme hill biome that isn't an extreme hill biome, which is something that's really nice, of course, or just confusing maybe, but I like to believe it's nice. So anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have, please do like it and let me know. Share it if you really liked it, and subscribe if you're new around here, because I do a whole bunch of Minecraft console videos I think you'll enjoy, including Seed Sunday, including a top 5 video every week, bunch of just cool tutorials and whatnot that you hopefully will like. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.